Good morning. How are we all doing tonight? Today. It's not nighttime. Let's see. What's up, the Beast? How you doing? Hola. We got 885 books sold over at Dog's Revenge. That's awesome. Love to see it. Sorry, I'm running a little behind today. I'm trying to get everything set up. X is for some reason down. So like things aren't loading. So we're going to be kind of stuck on what we're going to be talking about today. We've got the big news to talk about today is that both Chicago and Minnesota are suing the Trump administration to prevent ICE and DHS from coming in. We're going to go over their lawsuits and discuss it. They're going to lose. It's going to be hilarious. I can't wait. What's up, Lily? How you doing? And then hopefully by the time we get through those, X is back up because I got some videos and stuff to show. I don't know how Jay was able to. I can't even do my bookmarks work. My bookmarks work. Well, that's okay. How you doing today, Lee? Lily? Let's open up my email so that I can refresh it throughout the day and hope to see you have a job. Let's start with something a little lighthearted. A little good news. So I'm going to share this. The Broken Arrow City Council in Oklahoma has voted against moving forward with building a mosque in Broken Arrow with a 4-1 vote. I wonder who that one vote is. Probably a good thing. Good morning, Cornboy. I don't really see the need for a mosque in Oklahoma. You know, I try to be somewhat reasonable in this world, but patterns exist for a reason. And if you're just going to, what's up, Spider? How you doing, man? If I'm trying to think of how to say this politely. Let's look over in the UK, okay? We've seen news over the last, 2 or 3 months that they've been debating things like first cousin marriage and things like that, which among the aristocracy has never been, a lost art. They're real good at that. But normal people always knew that was a stupid and bad thing to do. Well, it's a really popular and prevalent practice over in Muslim countries, and they've been debating about whether or not to allow it in Europe, which is mind-boggling to allow. I mean, we know for a fact through science. What happened to trust the science? You know that if you allow bloodlines that are that close to intermingle, the kids end up being retarded. Beast, I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, it is super stressful. I thought I had great news yesterday. I interrupted this stream yesterday around, I think, like 10:30 to take a phone call from a staffing agency that was like, we've got a job lined up. You just have to do well in an interview, and it's basically going to be like a 7-minute interview where they make sure that you're not a weird person, which of course worried me because and then so I ended the stream. I didn't go live on King's Advisors for what's it called? Red Dead Redemption, because I was sitting there waiting for the email saying this when we want to interview you and everything. It never came, and then I get a text from the staffing lady that was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but they just reached back out and said that they feel that they're staffed up enough right now." So right now, I'm hoping someone quits in the next day or two. What's up, everyone else? Marianne, how are you doing? Wasp, welcome. Lurking lurkers are just as loved as chatters in this over in this group. What's up, Grunt? How you doing, man? Keep on gritting. But yeah, I think this is good. We saw that there was supposed to be that epic city in Texas where my Discord is going off right now. Can I mute this? Hey, let me put streamer mode on. Notifications. How do I do the data privacy? I know what we'll do. We'll just open up. There we go. And that should, yeah, there we go. Streamer mode's on. We're back. Yeah, so in Texas, they wanted to build that like epic city thing that was going to be this mega Islam center. Again, I'm trying to. If you want to come here and worship your God, that's fine. But when your worshiping runs counterproductive to the goals and the protection of this country, that's where I have a problem. So when you see things like that start to become popular, and I think there was another one that they wanted to do up in Michigan, I think. I have a real problem with that because we all you got to do is look abroad. You don't even have to reach back into history. Look abroad. Same group of people. And they are destroying Europe. Part of this is good old Corn Boy sending me things to talk about. Let's see. Oh. So apparently it is moving ahead. Epic City, now called the Meadow, will consist of homes, parks, schools, and houses of worship, including a new mosque. Monday announcement. Let's see. So this is a week ago. Of course, of most of 2025, Abbott, along with Texas Attorney Ken Paxton, launched a number of investigations to Epic while using their social media reach to regularly speak out against the mosque's efforts, including funeral services. In 2026, though, Epic is looking to set the record straight as it moves ahead with its community plans. See, the plan allows for multiple houses of worship reflecting the community's open and inclusive design. The statement says, from the outset, the project has been open to anyone who chooses to live there and is being developed in full compliance with all local, state, and federal laws. But we know that won't happen. We already know all of that is they can sit there and say that all they want, but that's not what's going to end up happening. They're going to sit there and they're going to allow all these different people of faith into their city, and then they're going to say, oh, by the way, if you want to stay here, or you don't want to be ousted, or you don't want everyone screaming at you, then you need to turn from your incorrect faith to Islam. That's what they're going to do. What's up, Breezy? What's up, K-Scope? I am... Greg Abbott tweeted, the meadow will remain just that, an empty meadow. Epic can change its name, but can't change the legality of the flawed structure they seek to impose. They delete social media posts and rewrite contracts, and let's see if X will open. Yep. But it's just a disguised and imposed Sharia on a community they create. At least 4 state agencies continue to investigate this misguided mission. I mean, and let's also talk about, so this is, where can I do it? Share this tab instead, make sure it's showing. Look at this design. This just screams. So you've got, let's see, I'm assuming this is probably the mosque. Soccer, because of course they won't have football. But look at this. You've got these look like it's going to be the important people. That the further away you get from the mosque, the smaller the houses get. Like, all this looks like is designed by Europeans who hate space and hate yards. I hate all of this. The entire thing is disgusting to me. Right there. Right there. Remember, they took over Constantinople and turned the Hagia Sophia into a mosque. But Texas has other issues right now as well. They still have an H-1B visa issue where they keep importing low IQ people. They're just ruining a whole bunch of stuff in Texas. And until the Republican Party in Texas decides to actually stand up and do something about it, it's going to get worse. All right, let's talk about Minnesota. Sure, this tab instead. There we go. All right, press conference with the Minneapolis mayor, the cuck in chief right here, and then Minnesota AG Keith Ellison, because Ellison is taking charge as the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Minnesota. He's taking charge of the lawsuit against Kristi Noem, John Condon, Todd Lyons, Marcos Charlie, Rodney Scott, Gregory Bavino, and David Esterwood. Yeah, so, which again is not surprising. But what I would be curious, Corn Boy, is I think I saw a similar map, and my I don't want to say it. The doubting side of me jumped out and went, well, what does each dot mean? Is each dot one person? Well, there's like 80 dots in Texas, so that's not that bad. is each dot 1,000 people? Well, there's 80 dots in Texas, so that's really bad. So I'd like to know the legend on that map. So this is AG Keith Ellison pouring more gas on the fire. Let's just listen. Oh.
The 10th Amendment on our local law enforcement is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless racist arrests, their targeting of our courts.
Let's pause this for a second. Okay, so he's talking about the shooting of Renee Good. He's talking about the fact that ICE is known, and this is a fact, okay, guys? ICE is known to pull people over who are brown. They're known to stop people who are speaking Spanish. Let's see. He's talking about, I don't know why he's talking about the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment reserves all rights not expressed to the federal government back to the states and the people. Last time I checked, immigration is 100% something referred to the federal government.
Our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act.
Again, ICE is not going into schools. I don't believe they're going into churches.
On arbitrary and capricious federal actions, and we ask that the courts will end the surge.
Does anyone here speak American Sign Language? Does anyone do American Sign Language here? Even if you're a lurker, I'd love for you to speak up because I have a genuine question about this stuff. Come on, chat. Anybody? Okay. Well, so my question is, why does every single person that is doing the sign language for people, why do they always have such an awful grimace on their face? They're always like what? Just smile. Doing that face adds to you are putting context into the conversation that's not your context. You are there to what's the word? Translate what someone is saying. There are courts all over the world that when translations go up and they find out someone has amended what the person that's or the person that is speaking the foreign language, what they're saying, they throw the entire thing out. That's what the face emotion is doing. But still, man, like that, you really should. All you're doing is inferring. Like we can assume that I already forgot his name. Ellison does have that feeling with what he's saying, but for her to take it upon herself, and for every single sign language person to take it upon themselves at press conferences, I just think it's wrong.
Of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota. We ask the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state, the intimidation, the threats, the violence. We ask the courts to end the tactics on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces.
Again, I have not seen one single ICE raid at a church synagogue, or mosque. Have not seen it. If it's happening, let me know, but I have not seen a single one. So this 10th Amendment argument has been tried before. It was actually tried by the southern states during Reconstruction to continue, or not even Reconstruction, during the 40s, 50s, and 60s to continue the Jim Crow era policies. It didn't work then. It's not going to work now. The only reason thousands of DHS and ICE agents what just happened? Can y'all still see the Twitter stuff?
Hospital.
Because it's blank on StreamYards for me. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The only reason that thousands of DHS, ICE, and federal law enforcement agents have gone into, I mean, you got IRS agents up there too. The only reason they've gone into Minneapolis and Minnesota is because we have found billions of dollars of fraud in that state from the immigrant community. That's why ICE is there. If it was a bunch of Christian white Americans, ICE would not be there because they're not immigrants. That's why ICE is there, because your immigrants are stealing billions of dollars from the American taxpayer. I don't understand what's hard to understand about this. Check my email real quick. None. The whole thing breeds of this dude is trying to, well, because he's implicated in the fraud as well. Ellison is implicated in this fraud. So is that mayor. In fact, the only reason Tim Walz isn't up here is because he's a bigger story right now. I've never seen a lawsuit from the attorney general be announced against the United States and the governor was not there with the attorney general. Never seen it. Every single time Alan Wilson sued Joe Biden and Barack Obama, Nikki Haley and or Henry McMaster was up there with him. This is them trying to get around and remove the federal law enforcement from Minnesota and Minneapolis so that their fraud cannot be found. That's all this is. So let's look at the lawsuit here. So this is Minnesota versus Kristi Noem. It's an 80-page lawsuit. There's also a very similar lawsuit from Illinois and Chicago versus the exact same people. Declaratory and injunctive relief. I like how they laid theirs out. You know what? This attorney, I like this guy. This just goes straight to the introduction. Obviously, we're not going to read all this. This would be way too much. But the entire complaint here is them claiming that they have a 10th Amendment right not to be impeded by federal law enforcement, that the fraud should be investigated by Minnesota police. Why? It's federal funds that are being defrauded. It's not state funds. And even if it's, 50-50, there's still federal funds commingled. That means the federal government is going to investigate. They talk about how the defendants, the federal government, deployed 2,000 DHS agents to the Twin Cities, and how they outnumber, and they've been talking about this for a while, how these DHS agents outnumber the sworn police officers of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Who gives a shit? There's more FBI agents in Washington, D.C. than there are police officers in Washington, D.C. You don't hear them complaining about it. All this is, all of this is to pull the veil over our eyes, make us look at this instead of what they've been doing, and try to get away with it, or at least prolong punishment through the midterms. The operation is driven by nothing more than the Trump administration's desire to punish political opponents and score partisan points. We have verifiable proof that the AG, the mayor of Minneapolis, and Tim Walz have been involved, whether directly or indirectly, directly by partaking in, or indirectly by turning a blind eye to a billion-dollar fraud industry in the state of Minnesota. There's no excuse for that. There's none. Defense actions appear designed to provoke community outrage, sow fear, and inflict emotional distress, and they are interfering with the ability of the state and local officers to protect and care for their residents. The ability of the state and the Minneapolis PD were literally told not to interfere. You're the ones interfering with the ability for them to protect and care for the residents of Minneapolis and Minnesota, not Trump and Kristi Noem and the DHS. So this is going to be their big argument here. The 10th Amendment gives the state of Minnesota and its subdivisions, including the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, inviolable sovereign authority to protect the health and well-being of those who reside, work, or visit within their borders. The people of Minnesota are entitled to basic safety and dignity in their communities. They have the right to move about their daily lives, confident that their constitutional rights and civil liberties will remain intact and will not be infringed. You are absolutely correct. The citizens of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota have the right to move about in their day-to-day lives and believing that their constitutional rights will not be infringed. The citizens sure do. The illegal immigrants do not. The Supreme Court has already ruled that while everyone inside the borders of the United States have constitutional rights, the rights of visitors, whether on visas or just illegals, are not as strict as the rights of an American citizen. I'm looking to see. Let's see. Just venue, parties. President Trump and others within the Trump administration, including defendants, have repeatedly used their public platform to attack plaintiffs, their people, and their elected officials, both within the context of immigration and beyond. It doesn't matter. So they're going to talk about this entire and all of this. They're going to talk about how he's repeatedly called Tim Walz retarded, how he thinks he's a terrible governor, all this stuff. And they're trying to use that to prove that all of this entire thing is based on not liking Tim Walz, when that doesn't matter. It's not important whether or not Trump likes Tim Walz. It's important whether or not there's criminal behavior going on in the state of Minnesota that's not being policed. And we know for a fact that it is. Let's see. The Trump administration has a pattern of targeting Democrat-led jurisdictions with immigration enforcement rather than regions with higher numbers of non-citizen immigrants. And that could be, wait, what's a non-citizen immigrant? I guess you could be a citizen immigrant. Sure, okay. The reason they don't send thousands of law enforcement into Texas and Florida and let's see, South Carolina's got a little bit of an issue, but it's not nearly as bad as other states. The reason they don't do that is because those states are cooperating with the federal government. They're ramping up their own immigration enforcement. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Yes, Mark. What? Absolutely. Their defense is based upon a third grader's playground activity. He doesn't like me. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. What the hell is going on with? Let's do this. Was this happening to Jay? No, I don't get it. Now, what do they want? This isn't even on Pacer, man. This is just that's one of the nice things about these federal lawsuits being newsworthy is the news goes and takes pulls the lawsuits for me, so I don't even have to get onto Pacer. So the prayers for the relief, these are what the people, Ellison and Minneapolis and Minnesota, these are what they're asking for. Declare the defendant's unprecedented surge of defendant's agents in Minnesota is unconstitutional and unlawful. Hold unlawful and enjoin the defendant's unprecedented surge of defendant's agents in Minnesota or any other similar action in Minnesota over the objection of the governor of Minnesota and mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Again, hold unlawful or enjoin defendants, basically saying, make sure you tell Christy no that it's illegal for her to send DHS agents and prevent her from being able to do it again. If the governor or the mayors say we don't like it, can you imagine? Again, they tried to do this in 1950 in Arkansas with Ruby Rose. Arkansas tried to say, we don't want to desegregate. And the federal government said, too damn bad. It didn't work in 1950. It's not going to work today. Preliminary and permanently enjoin defendants from implementing the unprecedented search. Again, same thing. They've said the same thing 3 different ways. What the hell? Okay. I need to look at a map of Minnesota. So so they're claiming that in 5 that the Border Patrol enforcement action in Minneapolis and St. Paul is illegal because it's not close enough to the border. I don't remember where it says that, but there is somewhere that apparently says that Border Patrol isn't supposed to operate outside 200 miles of the border. I don't really give a shit where they're operating. Just get them out. Mark Rowley says he likes 6B. So 6 says preliminarily and permanently enjoin defendants from engaging in the unlawful actions described in this complaint, specifically prohibiting defendants, their officers, agents, assigns, and all persons acting in concert with them from threatening or using physical force, including brandishing weapons, against any person who is not subject to a lawful immigration arrest, where such threat or force is not reasonably necessary to stop an immediate and serious threat of physical harm. Again, this is the Renee Good shit. They are using that tragedy, because that is at the end of the day what it is. She should have been there. I still don't really think he should have. No, I disagree with that. He should. He was well within his rights to defend himself and shoot her. Absolutely. She should not have been there. She should have been home with her kid. I think her wife is the one that agitated all of this. Her wife tricked her. All of this is bullshit. And that's why the wife is freaking out so much, because she knows that it's her fault. So that's what B is here. B is basically trying to relitigate this thing in the public, saying that ICE is continuing to kill citizens when they're not. Again, she tried to run him over. He had every right to shoot her. Oh, I also love this still would not have, let's say that the Supreme Court or whoever, whatever court, the first court is just going to be the federal courthouse there in Minneapolis. Let's say that they were able to go back into time and say B covers everything for the last 3 weeks, meaning we will stop the Renee Good thing. Still doesn't happen, because the second she impeded the ICE agents, the second she impeded law enforcement, she was subject to a lawful immigration arrest. If you obstruct justice, if you obstruct the normal course of business of an ICE agent, you are subject to arrest by those ICE agents. Even though ICE is only technically supposed to deal with immigrants, if a citizen throws themselves into that, 30-foot area, they're subject to arrest. Her wife's going to make an assload of money off of it. I don't know why that's happening. I'm going to have to figure that out before tomorrow. Let's see. Here we go. Concealing his or her identity by means of mask or other disguise. I think they do wear body cams. Her GoFundMe has surpassed $1.5 million. Maybe I should set up a GoFundMe for myself. Maybe I should say, you know what? I'm an aspiring YouTuber and I want to make money on YouTube, but now I don't have a job, so please give me money. They can't order what? Even I disappear when I pull that up. Mark, what can't they order? The removal of masks? Okay, let's argue this. So just my first thought would be the court can order whatever the hell they want. as we've seen many times in the last year, it just depends on whether or not it's going to pass the Court of Appeals and then the Supreme Court. We know that the courts can't, so masking, something like that, is usually a department policy, guidelines, things like that. And the courts are loath to interfere with policy within departments like law enforcement. But we've got several instances where the courts have dove into policy. One of them, was just recently where they had to release a bunch of people out of Chicago. The courts upheld that that settlement that basically created policies for ICE and DHS on who and how they could arrest people. I definitely think they can. I don't think they should. I think the courts should leave department policy to the departments and only interfere with that policy when it becomes a serious issue, like what was happening in Chicago 5 years ago. Yeah, no, dude, absolutely. I don't know why it's removing. You know what? Let's do this because at least I'll still be on there. That's so weird. Huh. Hang on. Bruh, StreamYards. If StreamYards thinks I'm paying for this shit, they got another thing coming. So Mark's absolutely right. He sits in court all the time and watches sheriff, local law enforcement, and federal law enforcement just flat out ignore court orders. They do all the time. Sometimes, and I'm sure Mark will agree with me on this, sometimes they get held accountable for it. But a lot of times they don't. And that's because the judicial branch does not have police action. They cannot go and arrest people. They can't say, and that's why Marbury v. Madison is such a big case in judicial history, because it's the first time that the Supreme Court overturned Congress and Congress listened to them. Congress could have said, fuck off, we don't care. But they didn't. And it is huge that they didn't. And to their credit, they didn't. How about this? So Fry, whatever his name is, went on a podcast and he's asked,
arrest.
Yeah.
What the? Maybe I just need to restart my computer after this.
Cops arrest them.
Yeah.
From a legal perspective, yes. From a practical perspective, to state the reality, yeah, it does get kind of.
What is your legal ability to arrest an ICE agent? Minneapolis PD can arrest a ICE agent if they're driving down the road and they hit somebody. Sure, absolutely. Minnesota State Police could arrest an ICE agent if they're off-duty driving drunk. Sure. You cannot arrest an ICE agent for performing their duty. And that's what the question is trying to infer. Do y'all think you'll be able to arrest these ICE agents just out and about? No. They have this thing called immunity.
Kind of hard when they drastically outnumber us and they have bigger guns than we do. It does, and
they have the same size guns. All y'all carry AR platforms. God, these Democratic politicians, man, can y'all just take like a month off? Just go back to your little think tanks and spend a month trying to figure out better arguments. Give us a month to fix this shit without you interfering every single day. And you know what? Maybe everyone will be able to afford a house after that. Oh, hey, what's going on with Iran? Let's look at that real quick. I saw that the Islamic government basically told everyone, if you do not disperse, you will all be charged with crimes against Allah, which is which is punishable by death. So that's really fun. About 2,000 people have been killed during all of this. Now, one thing, I don't normally have issues with the way Trump uses tariffs. He did announce yesterday that anyone that does business with Iran will face a 25% tariff. I'm not sure that I would have done that while the Supreme Court is trying to decide whether or not your use of tariffs is legal. Right now, the use of his tariffs has been like 99% predominantly just to promote the economic welfare of this country. But now he's using them as a way to deal with foreign policy. And that concerns me a little bit more, because while the president has absolute authority to conduct foreign policy in whichever way he sees fit, I would just be hesitant to give those three liberals in the Supreme Court any ability to try to change anyone's mind. Yes, absolutely, Interstellar. Keep exposing the fraud in the blue states and shine a spotlight on the Islamic invasion in our states as well. Will massively help with midterms. Absolutely, it will. Uh, 19 minutes ago, Trump says that all meetings with Iran are off until crackdown on protesters ends. He tweeted out I think this morning, that help is on its way to that. He said, Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, which is very similar to what the Shah sent out in his big message last 3 or 4 days ago, I think, telling them to, take to the streets. Do not separate into small groups, form large groups, take over the city centers, all that stuff. What's up, Cole Hauser? How you doing, man? Sorry, just refreshing my email. I haven't updated my email for a half hour or so. This is an anti-ICE protester who claims that he was struck by this vehicle the dash cam's on. Okay, let's watch. Real quick, I gotta say, I love the fact that they've put the Tennessee State Trooper Highway Patrol logo down here as if they're trying to watermark the dash cam footage. That's hilarious to me.
Move! Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Move! Move! Move!
Help! help, I've fallen and can't get up. Oh my God. What's up, Spirit? What an idiot.
Move! 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 Get out! Come here! Move! Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Move! Move! Move!
Normal people don't own high-res vests and walkie-talkies. Like, not that it's bad or wrong to own them. If you want to own them, absolutely own them. Great, buy more. But you know for a fact this dude received a kit from some guy down the street with a high-res vest, probably the gay-ass fedora he's wearing, and his walkie-talkie telling him, okay, when police show up, make sure you get out of the car, you block them, make yourself look big because they're like a bear. God, it's hilarious. Oh, good for you, Stuttering Craig. Let's see. Oh, here's the what do you call it? Here's the city of Broken Arrow thing. I'm wondering if we can.
Why would we won't be widened for another 10 years, as was mentioned earlier? So why would we consider rezoning this commercial or granting a special permit for a place of assembly with no immediate plan to alleviate the extra traffic it would create?
City leaders acknowledge that while development projects often bring differing opinions, they say this proposal has gained a level of attention unlike previous projects.
I wonder who voted yes on this. What don't you like about Stuttering Craig? It's a funny dude. Man, the residents went all out. This is how you do it. Look, I know that going to that meeting on a Tuesday night sucks ass. It sucks having to leave your home, especially when it's 20 degrees outside. It sucks. But this is what you have to do. Because when you show up, those people realize, those people sitting behind that desk on that dais realize that, hey, if we vote for this, they're not going to be happy. Look at how many people were there. Well, those libs sure don't like Muslims then. Dude, those were the days. Go play in traffic. So Timothy Busfield's still on the loose, huh? The West Wing actor that's being accused of child stuff. No, they are not. see. Representative Ben Davis in Minnesota says that articles of impeachment have officially been drafted for Tim Walz. I don't want impeachment. I want arrests. Former special counsel Jack Smith will now testify publicly before the House. It's disgusting. Bruce, you have a great day. I appreciate you lurking and being here.
Bundle up, Buttercup. It's the winter of love.
Get out!
So we've got a video here of the winter of love. Andy, you have a great day, man.
Bundle up, Buttercup. It's the winter of love.
Look at that dude in his pimp suit.
Get out!
Look at this little bitch.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Did he steal that? What? What does this mean? Don't threaten me. That looks like the clip from the store is still on his Carhartt.
The Resistance Orchestra came to town this weekend to make some noise. They targeted ICE hotels, broke windows, and stormed the lobby.
Yeah, y'all saw that, right?
You guys are all you can't get to me. You can't get to me. Get the out of here. Get the out. Nobody wants you here. Right. Get the out. Walk the out, you stupid. If you didn't have a gun or a badge, I would beat the out of you.
It wasn't just ICE agents getting attacked. Conservative journalists got mobbed.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
Good. Run them over. Run them the fuck over.
CNN got spared, though.
I'm so. Oh, hang on.
At least 2 or 3 blacks.
Who are you? Who do you work
thank
for?
you.
Who do
Hold
you
on.
work
I'm
for?
sorry. We're with CNN. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I'm sorry. I think people are getting upset.
Yeah. See. Look at that. They just care about identity. This whole thing is disgusting, man.
Where were the cops? Minneapolis Mayor Small Fry told police to stay.
Small Fry. I love that. You know how demoralizing it must be for the normal citizens of Minnesota to watch their police just turn their back on crime? Can you imagine what New York City would look like today if the police did that in the 1980s?
Did they just run away from a bunch of women with whistles?
They
This is
did.
a bad sign. The Democrat base said they wanted to see blood, and they got it. And now they're turning Minneapolis into a battlefield. And the police are retreating. Red-headed potheads are ready for war.
Who would rather be at home smoking weed? Yes. Yes. But why can't you be smoking weed right now? Because God.
I should be at home smoking weed and cleaning my house, but I'm guessing fucking Yahtzees had to ruin my damn week. Nope. Fucking weekend. GD Yahtzees.
Nazis. God Nazis. Yes. And how long do you plan?
White women. Abolish the 19th Amendment. That's it. I'm done. You know what? We've repealed amendments before. Repeal the 19th. You don't get to vote in this country unless you own property or you pay taxes. That's it. We're done. You go on public assistance for more than, let's say 5 months, you're out. No voting. No voting till you're off public assistance for a year. I'm done with this shit. I'm done with letting the mentally ill, the mentally deranged, the mentally impaired, I'm done letting them ruin this country. I'm just done. I'm sick of it.
Gonna be out here.
Oh, we're actually headed back to the car.
Grannies are outside begging for bullets to the face.
Can you imagine if someone actually did? Like, I don't want anyone to die during any of this, but like, if this woman did this in probably half the countries around the world, someone would shoot her in the face. But not here, because we have rights. She has rights. I'd say she's stepping over that line of what peaceful protest is. But she's got the right to protest how she sees fit. As long as she understands that if she steps over that line, she's going to jail. Who? Cornboy? Oh, yes. Did he pass away? Yeah, he did. The Dilbert, the guy that created Dilbert, passed away this morning. Damn. That sucks. Dilbert is hilarious. Big fan of the Dilbert comic strips. Former U.S. Navy sailor sentenced to 200 months for spying for China. 200 months. I have to do that. I have to do that math. 16 years. I'd say that's pretty fair. Wei betrayed the trust placed in him as a member of the U.S. Navy by knowingly transmitting sensitive military information to a Chinese intelligence officer. While not everything the FBI does to protect the homeland from China's intelligence services can be made public, this sentencing demonstrates the FBI's unwavering commitment to protect sensitive national defense information. It also serves as a reminder that those who choose to put personal gain above their oath and the safety of our nation will be brought to justice. Well, that's cool and all. That's awesome. But what about Milley? We already know Milley has already gone out and said that he had contacted his Chinese counterparts and told them that I will not obey any order to attack China. So where is his arrest? That's what I'm waiting for. Whoa, this should be illegal. So I don't know if this is worldwide, just in America, just in the UK. 34% of the jobs advertised were positions listed with no intent to hire, per the BBC. As someone going through trying to find a job right now, that should be illegal. It should be Because I'll tell you what's probably happening. You got a bunch of companies out there that they've probably got someone that's doing a decent job, and they're like, you know what, John does a good job. We like him, but is there anyone that's better out there? And they probably just list jobs trying to see if anyone, with 4 extra years of experience will apply for pennies, which is bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the BBC, so I assume it's probably just the UK, but I would not be surprised at all to see that is happening over here. We already know, as Market Reality brings up here, we already know that what some companies are doing is they are listing jobs for 20 and 30% below market rate, so that they can then go to the government and say, we want to apply for an H-1B visa. And when the government goes, well, have you made any attempts to hire an American? They go, yes, we've had the job listed for 6 months now, and no one has applied, or no one meeting our standards or within a certain area of we'll train them has applied. And that's because no one that meets that standard is going to apply for $27,000. Cole Hauser, what do you do? You need a attorney in South Carolina for anything? So this person commented on that tweet and said, first they said learn to code. Now they are replacing coders with AI. Here is the problem with AI, okay? AI is very good at creating things that already exist. It is shit at creating things that do not exist. And when you see all of these companies, you've got companies that are spending millions and billions of dollars on AI architecture, trying to get it to do stuff that it will not ever or will not be able to do for 10 to 20 years. And so you've got companies that today are laying people off. So that's one of the things that happened in my firm. I'm going to talk about this. The firm that I was working for has been working on an AI project for like 16 months. And that project, so if for anyone that's gone and bought a house, you sit down at the table and the person that's going to get you to sign everything puts a big old stack of papers in front of you and just starts saying sign, sign, sign. Well, there's kind of a good order to put those things in. And the software we used had a QR system that we could take QR codes, put them on top of the documents, and scan those documents in, and the printer would read the QR codes and put them in the correct folders, which is really good, really smart way of using technology. Now, the downside, though, was that you had to get the QR codes in order. They had to be on top of the correct documents. Well, there's a couple ways of doing that. The hospitality people could do it. The paralegal could do it before they send the package over. The attorney could do it before the closing. But they've spent the last 16 months working on an AI project that will allow you to email the package to this AI thing. The AI will put it in the correct order, and then they will and then it'll send the package out to the attorney, and the attorney can print the package in the correct order. Now, the problem is that's requiring the AI to create something, which likely means that you've got to scan in every single variation of a mortgage. You've got to scan in every single variation of a note, different loan package, all this stuff to teach the AI what these documents look like, what order they go in, and all that kind of stuff. The problem is mortgage companies use different mortgages. They use different types of mortgages. They use different styles, fonts, all this stuff. Things that the AI are not set up yet to really understand. So I'm scared to think about how much money my firm spent on that or is spending on it. I can't wait to get a text from someone at the firm one day and be like, hey, sorry, messages on my phone. I can't wait to get a text from someone and be like, hey, why are you talking about the firm on YouTube? Yeah, Cornboy, I already talked about the Ellison thing. And that ending temporary protected status for Somalians is pretty old. I'm going to save that image and share it. Cole Hauser, definitely do that. Well, so Iris, what I will say is if I was willing to do other stuff, I could absolutely get a job. Absolutely. But I don't want to go to court. I don't want to advocate for clients because clients are assholes and they don't know what they want. I want to stay in real estate. So that's why it's taking longer for me to find one. But I sent out another 10 applications this morning to different doc review stuff. So I'm hoping to have something at least part-time ish soon. Yeah, okay. Cornboy sent me this, and this is so fucking funny that we're gonna share it. No, what the fuck? It looks like you're trying to argue with a stranger on the internet. Would you like to turn on caps lock and disable spell check? I love that. Thank you for that, Cornboy. I needed a laugh. The White House has attacked Sir. He's been knighted. Keir Starmer over his refusal to ban cousin marriage, calling it a civilization concern. What do you mean it didn't show up? Can y'all not see this? Yeah, I see it. I've got my stream pulled up as well. Yeah, it's showing up. Yeah, it looks like you're trying to argue with a stranger on the internet. Would you like to turn on caps lock and disable spell check? Love it. Hilarious. What's up, Corn Pop? Guys, we're getting pretty close to monetization over here. I think we may get fully monetized, or not fully. We won't be fully monetized, but we're gonna get monetized probably by Friday. So I'm pretty excited for that. Yeah. Okay. So this is weird. Cornboy, maybe I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure that President Trump ended the temporary protected status for the Somalians like 2 months ago. But I'm seeing more tweets from, not Indian bot accounts saying that it's just happened. The House Oversight Committee is now moving to hold former President Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after he refused to testify in the Epstein investigation today. Interesting. It won't do anything, though. I mean, Eric, what's his name, stayed the fucking attorney general after being held in contempt of Congress. First attorney general ever to be held in contempt. Eric Holder, nothing happened to him. Trump's going up to 4 plants. Yes, Eric Holder is a low down piece of shit. Well, I think that's going to be it. Let's see if there's any big news before we go. So, U.S. Attorney Pirro tweeted this. The United States Attorney's Office contacted the Federal Reserve on multiple occasions to discuss cost overruns in the chairman's congressional testimony, but were ignored, necessitating the use of legal process, which is not a threat. The word indictment has come out of Mr. Powell's mouth, no one else's. None of this would have happened if they had just responded to our outreach. This office makes decisions based on the merits, nothing more and nothing less. We agree with the chairman of the Federal Reserve that no one is above the law, and that is why we expect his full cooperation. So that's funny. Let's assume, if we look at that and assume that that's true, which I think I'm more likely to trust her than I am to trust Jerome Powell, who seems kind of like a freaking idiot. If all the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. wanted was to, get answers on why these costs are skyrocketing, then all they had to do was say, hey, yeah, they're going up. This is why, the construction costs, things like that. Explain your reasonings. But Jerome Powell seems to be trying to use this as a way to stay in power and continue to charge the American taxpayer outrageous sums for a building that, honestly, I don't understand why the Federal Reserve needs such an extravagant building. Why can't y'all just be, 10 people that get together at, the bar to decide these things? Why do you need a 20 acre complex? I need to plug my phone in. Well, guys, Who said that, and who are you agreeing with about it? Kohlhauser said Eric Holder was a low-down piece of shit. Can you not see the chat? Oh, interesting. Hey, you Corn Pop, you need to turn you need to make your chat live chat. Hey, it looks like Kohlhauser's comment on Eric Holder was suppressed. Isn't that interesting? Well, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. Let's see where Dog's Revenge is at right now. Still 885 books sold. They're so close to hitting that pre-order goal. Can they get to 1,000 books by the end of the week? That would be awesome. Clyde says, my only regret is that I have one like to give. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here. I hope y'all have a great day. We're going to be live over on King's Advisors doing some Red Dead Redemption. I think I have that scheduled for 1 o'clock. Am I right about that? Oh, Sheba, I just signed out of everything on YouTube. Crap. Damn it. When do I have King's Advisor scheduled to go live? I thought I did. Oh, YouTube's turned off on it. What? Yeah, 1 p.m. is when we have it scheduled to go live. So we'll do that. We'll have some fun, play some games. It'll be a fun day. Guys, y'all have a great night. Peace out. Let's go out with this.